Can the police pull over a vehicle when they see someone purposely avoid a DUI checkpoint? That was the question in the case of the rerouted Roadster. In this case, Highway Patrol set up a DUI checkpoint near Millbank, South Dakota. Before the suspect in the case reached the checkpoint, he turned onto a gravel road to avoid a DUI. A highway patrolman gave chase. While the officer pursued, he noticed that the suspect drove at excessive speeds under the conditions and took an unusually wide turn. The officer caught up with the driver and pulled him over to ascertain why he avoided the DUI checkpoint. The officer noticed that the driver exhibited signs of intoxication. The subsequent breath test and blood work confirmed a BAC of 0.18, which is over twice the legal limit of 0.08. The trial court found the defendant guilty of driving under the influence, and the defendant appealed, asserting the police officers violated his Fourth Amendment rights. How would you decide this case? Can the police pull over a vehicle when they see someone purposely avoid a DUI checkpoint? We'll be back in a moment to answer that question. Can the police pull over a vehicle when they see someone purposely avoid a DUI checkpoint? Yes, according to the unanimous South Dakota Supreme Court, but only when there are other circumstances that give a police officer a reasonable suspicion of criminal activity. The Fourth Amendment protects against unreasonable searches and seizures of people's cars. Traditionally, a police officer needs a warrant to search or seize a car unless the police officer has a reasonable suspicion that criminal activity may be afoot. A South Dakota federal court has heard similar cases to this one and held that exiting a highway right before a DUI checkpoint is indeed suspicious, but not suspicious enough to give a police officer a reasonable suspicion that criminal activity may be afoot. Because the patrolman saw the defendant drive at excessive speeds, take a wide turn, and avoid a DUI checkpoint, the court ruled that the patrolman had enough information to develop a reasonable suspicion that criminal activity was afoot. Thus, the arrest was lawful. Remember, it's a matter of law.